my settings and it's happening. Hey,
Oh,
hey,
hello.
welcome, kids, to Fat Man Beyond: the Holiday Edition. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey,
Oh,
and look at I can't speak to where he is. I guess he's in the guy from Up's house. Where are
I
you?
am. I'm in.
Is
I'm
that what
in.
it is?
Uh-huh.
You
Got
trying
two
to,
little chairs.
become a throuple with that fucking lovely old couple that
Yeah, we are in the
started out?
Adventurers Club together.
So dirty. I am also in a fictional relation, kids. I'm at let me spin her around. You spin me right round, baby, right round. I'm at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. Don't mind the ring light, that's to make me look young. Right here in beautiful downtown Red Bank, New Jersey, sitting in front of a rack of my own comics, Kev's Comics Club. Look at all the fucking comics that I've written in the last few months alone. Comics. Anyway, I'm at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Outstanding. Good place to be to talk about nerd shit.
You're not kidding, man. The hat was a choice, kids, because this looks a little dark. I'm like, you can't even disappearing into the frame.
You're a second story man doing a podcast.
Truly. How are you, my friend? This looks
I'm.
more seasonal.
There you go. You should get it.
Let me get an ornament. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm beginning to bemoan the fact that I don't have a hat. I feel like I should have had a Santa hat or some shit, some garland, some tinsel, some. Oh, very nice. Ooh,
Look at this shit. Seasonal as fuck.
wow. Deck the motherfucking halls.
That's going to grow irritating very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Kids, it's the holiday season. Christmas to some, Hanukkah to others, Kwanzaa to more, and a real pain in the ass for everybody in general. As they all prepare to go scatter and see relatives and whatnot, as they're all shopping, doing their final shopping for Christmas presents and stuff, all so that we can have a few moments on Sunday that feel like, wow, that's what life should be like, man. This is your chance, kids, to live in your fucking Scrooged last 10 minutes of Scrooged moment. That's my favorite part of Christmas is the last 10 minutes of fucking Scrooge at this point. I'm not a gift receiver, Mark. I'm more of a giver.
Yeah, I've heard that about you.
But so Christmas is and I don't know. I like I kind of like my whole life is one long holiday, so Christmas just feels like the weekends. Like when the weekends come, I'm like, oh yeah, everybody now has off. Like I have off every day and stuff, and that's what Christmas feels like to me. It's like, oh, this is the day that everybody gets to feel like I do 7 days a week.
Yeah, I miss because the kids are so old at this point that the energy, the dopamine release you would get from children excited about Christmas is kind of gone now. There is no standing at the top of a flight of stairs like so fucking excited about what's happening downstairs. That it has just become like a day of relaxation and not a day of anticipation, which is a good energy but a different energy.
It's true. I remember the days of yore when the kid was little. My Malcolm just reminded me of a story. My good friend Malcolm Ingram, sadly, his mother, Gloria Glow, who we used to do podcasts with all the time, the Toronto, Ontario, Mo and Glow show. His mom passed away, sadly.
Oh shit.
And we were chit-chatting back and forth, and he reminded me of this Christmas in the past where we were shooting Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, or about to shoot Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And we'd all come to California in November. And in those days, like, Jay was still like in the throes of his addiction. So Malcolm was the Jay Whisperer. He was the guy who was like, like, Malcolm, we're going to pay you to sit on Jason and make sure you don't go out and try to score and stuff like that. So, Malcolm was from Toronto. He should have gone home, but instead he stayed with us. And Christmas morning, it was me, Jennifer, Byron and Gail, Jen's parents, Harley, who was like 2 maybe at the time or something like that, Jason Muse, his then girlfriend, and I don't know why I waved her off. She was lovely, but she's not really part of the world anymore. And Malcolm. So we get a big tree, and the tree is obscenely like overstuffed with presents because the kid is fucking 2 years old. And so she gets everything, including like what was called a roller coaster. It was like a wavy ramp like this, and you put her on the little cart and it just went down one fucking slope. So kid made out like a bandit, as you would imagine. Jay, who was, struggling with his addiction, he was getting overpresented as well. As was I and Jen, back and forth. The entire, like, fucking all the presents. This is so fucking terrible. Not a single one of them was for Malcolm.
Oh,
We sat there opening all the presents all morning long, and nobody got Malcolm a fucking thing, which I was like devastated by, but Malcolm probably even more so. So Malcolm, like, like fucking, he was cool about it until he fucking had a few drinks later on, and he was just like, I didn't even fucking go home for Christmas. I didn't get a goddamn present. He goes, the baby got a fucking roller coaster. It was a bit of an overstatement, but technically true. She did get a roller coaster. He was like, oh, the obscene wealth. Look at all these gifts for this kid. It was like newborn queen. But yes, I don't have that anymore, man. I mean, now when it's like it's time to get her a gift, it's a lot more like, what do you need for your home?
right.
Fucking homeowner. It's no longer like, here's a baby roller coaster.
Although you should do that again, though. Here, it's a fucking roller.
She's got a fucking yard, so it's just like, here, man. Like, it still works.
Oh yeah.
I got picked up the other day. I was at a fucking con. What was it, the con, or was the last show of the convenience tour? I can't remember if it was Hartford or if it was a Galaxy Con, but a person much taller and bigger and stronger than me. Like, we took a picture, or we did a thing, and then they like hugged me and picked me the fuck up. And such a good time. Like, like I like, this is gonna sound bougie, and like, I don't want to come off like a rich man, but I almost want to find a tall giant man or woman or other to periodically just pick me up and shake me. It was so fucking fun. No, whoever picks you up when you're 50?
I mean, they'll pick you up again when you're 80 and you've got to get out of the bed and into the wheelchair. But it's a long stretch.
I guess at that point I'll enjoy that as well. I'll be like, Zaddy Weed Bucks needs to get the
Just, yo, Tyrone, uppies.
uppies. My God, I can totally do. That's the idea. The idea is to find like a Hagrid motherfucker, like one of the blue cats in Avatar, which
Hell
we'll
yeah.
be talking about later on. There are moments in Avatar where there's like a giant blue cat fucking with a little person, and I'm like, not fucking literally. That would have made it. Then he could have went 3.5 hours. I would have watched that shit. But just they're interacting, and I was like, that looks oddly comforting to be picked up and held by something that giant. Like, remember in the first Avatar where she had Jake Sully? Oh, Jake Sully. And she had him. She's like, oh, my Jake at the end, my Jake. And he was Sam Worthington and not the big blue cat.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like fucking gigantic. That's the right relationship right there.
Just give me a giantess.
He needed more of that in Avatar 2, the way of the water, or whatever the fuck. It should have been Avatar 2 upseas with my with my girl.
Yeah, like I feel like they missed the boat on the New Gods movie that didn't happen. Just make it fucking Big Barda just picking up motherfuckers. Just like it's just a fetish flick. That's all it is.
For the first fucking time ever, I'm like, I would watch a New Gods movie. There's a lot of it. Like Big Barda and a little Scott Free. Yeah, and I'm not talking miniature, but like clearly a foot or less.
Yeah.
And she's, picking them up all the time and shit, throwing them under, it's like over her shoulder and fucking. I mean, they got the effects now. They made She-Hulk look fucking huge around other people.
Hell yeah. I'm saying.
Before we talk about the big bardification of cinema, what it means for those of us who are little.
Hot take trend piece.
We should probably talk about who's sponsoring this here show, man. Somebody asked, Eric Birch said, I guess Kev won't be smoking as he's in the store, or is it edibles time? I mean, we'll see. The store is technically still open. Mike Zapsik, comic book man, Mike Zapsik was kind enough to be like, you want us to close the store? But I was like, the greedy businessman in me, I'm like, at Christmas? Like I got Scrooge like. I was like, no, we're staying open till 10. But if it's slow enough and shit, I could see that. I think I can get away with that. I know a guy. And the person
on the lease
like yell at me and shit and get me in trouble, or my only answer to like a few people in this world. And Carol, who runs everything, Carol Hammond, my chief financial officer, my business manager, whatever. Carol is the giant blue cat who cradles me and keeps me fucking safe and prevents me from hurting myself and otherwise. She's always like, you don't need that, slow down, stuff like that. She's Jiminy Cricket. Every penny I had would be long fucking gone were it not for Carol. So why did I bring her up?
The people you answer to.
Yes, thank you. She's not here. She went overseas to see her kid, which is beautiful. Merry Christmas to all. But like if I smoked and she was in town, she'd be down here in a shot and be like, what are you doing? You're jeopardizing everything you built. Put that out. No, she don't yell, but she'd be like, stop. She ain't here, so now Zaddy's in charge.
We're putting a roller coaster in the store.
Oh, look who it is, kids. It's Banff Man. Welcome, Banff Man, to the show. Hey, Banff Man.
How's it going? Your story reminded me of a time I was out with Jay. We were making Tusk, and every day before we went to set or while we had lunch, Jay and I drove to either Target or Best Buy. And we were at Best Buy at lunch, and he was wearing like this really weird Gilligan's Island type Gilligan hat at the time.
Right.
And somebody stopped and they're like, are you Jay? Can I take a picture with you? And he took a picture, and Jordan didn't travel for Tusk. It was like, like the three of us in the car every morning. And,
if I remember correctly, was she with child? Was that around? Maybe she just couldn't. She had to hold down the fort, but Jay was there every day.
Yeah, so Jay and I were hanging out, and it was like Jay getting to hang out with his friends again, unsupervised. And so this lady takes the picture, posts it on Instagram, and not more than 3 minutes later, my phone rings, and it's Jordan. She goes, tell Jay to take off that stupid fucking hat. Click.
No shit. That was fast.
So be careful, because Carol could be watching.
Jordan is the other, one on the other coast that is the Carol of like, you don't need to do that. But she has to do it for two people. Not just me, but also her husband, who is far more wasteful and spendthrifty than me. We're both kids. We figured it out. We're both kids that grew up completely without. He even more than me. I had my parents like struggled, put shit together. I had Star Wars figures. He did not. So once life was like, hey, you're these fucking idiots in movies until you die. And here's some money to go along with it. Well, naturally, most of that money went to like, now I could buy all the things that I never bought. And it was a series of fucking toys. If you ever see Jason's like room, when he streams, it's just fucking covered with toys. Like he has so many that he sends them to the stash for his private collection, where he overprices them and puts them on a shelf here. And that way, if they sell, he's sad, but at least he made like more money than he ever would have and shit. But he's just using this place as storage for all of his fucking toys and stuff. Why was I talking about him? God, I don't need to smoke weed. I fucking smoked right before the show, apparently. Oh, so Jordan is always like, hey man, don't to the two of us and stuff. Nobody's here now.
Who can tell? It's not like there's anything flammable.
We shall see. All right, let's give a sponsor their due.
Indeed. Perhaps Native DEO.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. Let me pull it up. Oh, you mean our friends, the good folks at Native?
Indeed.
When it comes to personal hygiene, who's got time to read that long list of ingredients on the back of the bottle? Some ingredients I can't even pronounce. That's, to be fair, I can't pronounce a lot of things. When I first got to Los Angeles, I called it Sepulveda Boulevard. See, look how Mark's laughing at me. That's how a local laughs at a guy from out of town when he mispronounces shit. If you're like me and you care about what goes on your body, man, then guess what? It's time to try Native. As we talk, kids, follow along over at nativedeo.com. Smell and feel fresh all day long with Native. Get 20% off your first order by going to nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN, all one word, at checkout. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout for 20% off your first order. Kids, it's that time of year where you could smell like sugar cookies or candy canes. Bunch of edible shit, man. Thanks to the good folks at Native. They don't put weirdness in it. They put all natural shit. It's all natural. You could eat, I've said this many times. Let's say you're like in a plane that's going over the Andes and it goes down and you're like those poor kids in Survive or Alive, depending on what you saw, which movie.
Yellow Jackets.
Survive when I was a kid, Alive in the 90s, and now Yellow Jackets. Good point. Well, that's a way more current reference. Hey kids, imagine you're in Yellow Jackets season 2, and like the plane goes down and shit, and they're eating berries in the woods. Not you. You're eating your Native because it's made all natural ingredients. That's the only situation under which maybe think about eating it. But I'm just saying, you can't do that with some other roll-on or spray can. You got to think about those Yellow Jackets moments in life. Nobody prepared for that. Oh, other deodorants are prepared to help you not sweat, but are they prepared to save your life when the plane goes down the woods and you go feral with a bunch of girls like yourself? With one guy, maybe two. There were a couple guys.
There's a couple guys.
Good show, man. When's season 2? Anyway, enough about them. Back to Native, kids. Mark, tell them what they need to know.
Native deodorant checks a lot of boxes. 72-hour odor protection, naturally derived ingredients, and a smooth, residue-free application. Also offers a variety of scents with new and limited edition scents being released all the time, like warm cider and cinnamon, cashmere and rain, toasted marshmallow and vanilla, wildwood and cardamom. Oh my God, forget it. And when you use Native, you will smell amazing all day long, thanks to their long-lasting scents. Spicy or woodsy, clean and fresh, they've got a scent for everyone. So now's the time to make the switch from an antiperspirant to Native. And when you visit their site, you can discover all their fresh scents and maybe even try one of their body washes while you're at it. So, smell and fresh clean. Smell and feel fresh all day long with Native. Get 20% off your first order by going to nativedeo.com/fatman or use promo code FATMAN, all one word, at checkout. That's nativedeo.com/fatman or use promo code FATMAN at checkout for 20% off your first order.
kids, we thank the good folks at Native, not just for tonight, but all year long. These Native folks, God knoweth why, believe in us and our show. Maybe it's because every week I'm like, I use it, or maybe because they see actual real transactional, justice in being our sponsor. But for whatever reason, kids, we love the good folks at Native as much as you can love people you've never met. I never met these people, but I fucking love them. They make this show possible. That and a grant from the Helena Rubinstein.
And viewers like you.
And
Who gets a tote bag?
You want a tote bag? Come to Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, kids. Those who came in late, that's where I am. Look at this shit. We're doing our comic book show at a comic book store. One that was on TV. Well, not this incarnation, but the previous incarnation of the Stash. Very famous, Mark. Show called Comic Book Men. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Indeed. I saw it from afar.
All right. We got shit to do.
We do.
We'll do a little news, and then we got to do the other ad as well. Kids,
Yes.
I'm going to put it on Front Street with you. Fat Man Beyond is a show that can tend to run long sometimes. Not tonight, because Bamf Man has a thing he's got to do and stuff. But when it does, and you have multiple sponsors, and the other sponsors wind up happening like 2 hours after the show begins, those sponsors are justified in being like, what the fuck? Or just the fuck. So we'll be front loading our ads going forward.
Yeah. So we'll do a sprinkle of news, then we'll get into the big topic of today, which is talking about Avatar: Way of the Water. And then we'll come back to Q&A, but we'll hit ad number 2 in pretty short order.
So we'll have Native, good folks at Native Arc sponsor right now, as you know. Another one coming up. But before we even go there, man, there's a third sponsor.
What is it?
It's me.
You.
That's damn right. I'm selling something. We got a New Year's Eve show, and it's just me. If you've ever wanted me to use my mouth all over you, New Year's Eve is the time. December 31st, kids, 10 o'clock at Smodcastle Cinemas. I'm doing a New Year's evening with Kevin Smith, standing up there and chit-chatting and just giving you oral right till 2023, man, until next year. That's how prolific I am at it. Pragmatic, what looks like. But come on out, man. Tickets at smodcastleCinemas.com. We've been having a good time at Smodcastle Cinemas, Mark. The other night I had a screening. Well, we multiplex, so a bunch of movies play there. One of them is a motion picture called Avatar. I was like, ooh, I'm going to watch it, but I might as well use this as a marketing opportunity. So I was like, hey, man, I'm going to watch Avatar on Sunday. Who wants to watch it with me? I'll Q&A afterwards, even though I had nothing to do with the movie. And I got 35 people.
Can I watch a movie with you?
I think 34 of them were coming regardless, and they were confused why I was there. No, it was really lovely. And then afterwards, I got up and Q&A, and I wasn't like talking for Jim Cameron, but I was just spouting facts that I knew and shit like that. And as a representative of like Hollywood, I got some questions like, why is shit so expensive? I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad you asked. And I could actually but it was fun. So I built a schedule. That's what I did the other day for the first 6 months of 2023, including Clerks open all night. The Clerks I ain't calling it one. Clerks 2, and Clerks 3 marathon we're doing. It's January 21st, kids. Set the date, save the date, as they say in the wedding community. But I built a schedule, including, and this is where it becomes relevant to our interests right here, the Ides of Mark on the schedule. Let me pull it up, and I can actually give you fucking legit dates, man.
I love dates. Dates are awesome.
I hit up Mark, and I was like, man, when can you do? And what can you do? And he gave it to me. And now I can't find it. Where the fuck are you? Desktop. Smodcastle. Sorry, I'm one of those people that talks out loud when he does a thing. Okay. In March. Now, some people are going to be like, "When's Zack Snyder coming?" I haven't booked that because I got to wait until he tells me when he's coming. But he said in the first quarter, so we'll be putting those dates in. These dates are, all the schedule I built is based on the stuff I know for a fact is coming and when, blah blah blah. As other folks like the Russos are like, "Hey, we're ready," those things will get slotted in naturally. I'll tell people. But if you're looking for the Ides of Mark kids, which is Marc Bernardin programming his own festival. It begins, of course, on the Ides of March 15th, with a screening of Dune, David Lynch's Dune.
I will kill him.
See? He was very specific. He's like, not the new Dune. He's going, though I liked it.
Yes.
He's going, classic Dune. I said, of course. Then we'll do Q&A afterwards. Then, or Mark will do Q&A afterwards. I'm going to sit in the audience and ask him questions. Mark, why do you love this movie so much? On the 16th, the Ides of Mark continues with Attack the Block with Marc Bernardin.
Hell yeah.
Kids. Then on the 17th, at 8 p.m., the Ides of Mark continues with Streets of Fire.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We're all going to sing along. And then for the 18th, there are two events. The Ides of Mark is a episode of Fat Man Beyond that night. So Fat Man, March 18th, we'll be doing it from Smodcastle Cinemas. And then after that, at like 10 o'clock is if you're around and you're into it, the Merry Marvel Movie Society. We're doing Iron Man 2 that night. So if you want to sit in on that. But yes, my schedule is built. Oh my God, there's fun things afoot. But you want to come see me and Mark in my home and native land of New Jersey at Smodcastle Cinemas. March is going to be your time, man. The Ides of Mark.
They are upon us.
Okay, should we go into the movie or go into the news?
We could go into the news. We'll save Avatar a little bit.
KO.
So
the news comes from that guy, the other guy, not me, man. He used to be in the news, in the trenches. Now he makes news, but back then he covered news, so he knows how to cover it, and he's covering it right now for you. Welcome back, temporary newsman Marc Bernardin.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I appreciate the handily tossed references. So we recorded an episode last week, and then literally like half an hour after we went off the air, James Gunn decided, I have more things to say about what's happening in DC.
I know, like I almost before we did this show, I told Mark, I was like, look, I got James' number. Maybe I should text him and be like, last week we did a whole ass show, and then all of a sudden you announced a bunch of things. We're about to do a whole ass show. Anything you want to?
A heads up. Just that's all I need.
But I don't want to I want to text James so badly about unrelated matters. I want to ask him like, what date are you coming to the theater with Guardians of the Galaxy 3? But I'm afraid right now that the whole world, since he's been announced as the head of DC, like whole fucking world's probably reach out to him. And if he sees a text from me, like my name pops up, first thing he's going to think is, this motherfucker wants a job. And it's like, no, I don't. Well, I do want a job, but not like at Warner Bros. I want you to come to the movie theater and show the movie. So I got to get up the nuts I'm going to let things calm down because based on the news that happened last week and the news that continues, the internet has become a stormy sea for poor James. But boy, oh boy, like Smod bless him. I saw him just sticking to his guns. He's like, look, I know that people are going to be mad. I know that people are, going to call for my death and shit, but like, I'm not going to be moved by, people saying mean things. We have a plan and there'll be a period of transition, but we're going to get there. That dude is, remember that fucking book, You're a Better Man Than I Am, Gunga Din. I would crumble. Mark, you saw me last week. Somebody was like, you should have died from the heart attack. And fucking 20 minutes, I was like, ah! James Gunn is at the epicenter of far more fucking firepower and hate than I've ever been, even with Masters of the Universe, believe it or not. And he's a picture of grace under pressure. He's just like, he's going, and not in a shitty combative way. He's given real responses to questions. Like news is coming out of this. Like I see so many news pieces from his tweets and whatnot.
He
But
he is. He
he's
is.
brave, man. He's brave. That's they you know, I'm good thing they didn't pick me to do that job. The moment somebody was like, "You're an asshole," I'd been like, "Peter, I quit." Like, no way.
I will say, like, on the one hand, I find it admirable that James is as interactive with an audience as he is. But on the other hand, it's like there is nothing to be gained by it. Like, just like there's probably a very good reason why Kevin Feige doesn't even have a Twitter account. Like, I'm gonna just go do this shit. Like, you'll see it when
And
you
people,
see it.
and generally people love those movies. I mean, I know there are people that are like fucking mid, but like generally Marvel movies are very favorable. And even with that, like if I was Kevin Feige, I'd be like, I'm gonna sit online and collect my flowers and shit because I'm doing a fucking massive story that everybody loves. And even that dude's like, maybe that's how you stay productive. He's like, no time for my flowers, just moving forward, ever forward.
There's nothing to be gained by it. But you know, it's good for the news industry. It's good for the hot take industrial complex to have him just lobbing information and occasional grenades out into the world. And so when we wrapped last week, he lobbed another grenade, basically saying that he was writing a new Superman movie. And in the process of writing this new Superman movie, somebody was out of a job. So this was the Twitter, the tweets that he sent out. Peter Safran, co-head of DC Studios, and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about, and we'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects in the beginning of the new year. Among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. But we just had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting opportunities to work together in the future. So we are, I think, in effect seeing, you know, what I think we had assumed would be one of a couple of possibilities, which was the end of the Snyderverse as we know it.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I was just smiling at somebody in chat said, I've seen pictures of your daughter's boyfriend. He could totally still use that roller coaster.
Damn.
Whatever. I'm choosing to think that means because he looks like a kid who enjoys a roller coaster, Mark. That's what I think that's all about.
Fair enough.
This news, of course, came with mixed emotions. I was super excited to hear that James Gunn is writing a fucking Superman film. James, say what you will about James, like James is a hell of a writer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Scooby-Doo, Dawn of the Dead, you know, the Guardians movies, like he didn't he write Brightburn as well?
He executive produced it. I think his brother wrote it, or brothers for that matter.
There's some talent in that family. They know how to. Those guns are loaded. Thank you. But you know, sad to see Henry Cavill go just when Henry Cavill was like, "I'm back, kids." I'm not back. Oh, my bad. I'll see you on The Witcher. Wait, no, God damn it! Like, I mean, doesn't he just showed up at the end of Shazam?
He did, and then the Black Adam, you know, and he also, you know,
Black Adam, not Shazam. He just showed up at the end of Black Adam.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Cavill also, you know, on apparently social medias where everybody has these discussions nowadays, said, "I will, after all, not be returning as Superman." After being told by the studio to announce my return in October, prior to Gunn and Safran's hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build, and I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. He also shot a cameo in The Flash, but sources say that along with Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, that cameo is now being cut, giving the studio's choice not to go forward with Wonder Woman 3.
I mean, really?
Mm.
So, I mean, wow. Like, you already shot it.
You already shot it.
You got free. That could be her last appearance. Might, you know, fucking, if people didn't like Wonder Woman 84, it could be, you know, a nice, like, well, she was in that. And then she went, why? I mean, why would you?
I mean,
unless you're getting ready you're ramping up a different DC.
That's probably the thing, is that at some point you have to decide we're going to rebuild this from jump. And the longer you continue to put out versions of the old team, the harder it is at some point to just make the transition to the new team. So I guess, and this is, again, this isn't James Gunn saying it, it is sources say. And I personally don't know what those sources are. They are sources that confirm this to outlets like Deadline or Hollywood Reporter or what have you. We are not even re-reporting it. We are reiterating the news. But you're at some point going to have to decide to rebuild your team. And it seems as if they've decided that now is that time.
Yeah, good Lord. Well, I guess somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
And man, it takes a spine that I ain't got to head into the internet and be like, I'm not going to do what you want. But I look forward to see where it goes. Seems weird to cut those. I mean, especially because isn't it like a story of multiverses? And
I think so, but I don't know in what fashion those cameos were presented. You know, like if it had the tenor of this is the last time we're going to see these people, or is it in between adventures we catch up with Wonder Woman, and like you don't want to promise further story when there isn't going to be any. And so I guess the other question is, do we reshoot those cameos at great expense to recontextualize them as the ending of that particular universe, or do we just cut them and not even have that part of the story? Because they can't have been integral to the story per se if they're just cameos. So I don't know what the answer to that is. But apparently he was paid something like $250,000 for that cameo, both at the end of Black Adam and in The Flash.
I mean, Flash seems to be the hero killer movie. Fucking Michael Keaton Batman didn't make it out alive. Gal Gadot Wonder Woman didn't make it out alive.
Somehow Ezra Miller is still sprinting across the finish line.
So weird. It's like, if you were going to pick which one of these people should we get rid of, like based on headlines, you might go like, I'm a fast guy.
He seems a little dodgy.
Instead, they're like everybody else.
Yeah, they seem a little dodgy. Forgive me.
They got Blue Beetle coming.
They do, and they seem committed to it. Henry Cavill, on the other hand, has moved on to make Warhammer 40,000 for Amazon, based on the very popular science fiction fantasy miniature war game, of which he's a adherent and devotee. Like Henry Cavill is a fellow who will make his own PCs to game, who will paint his own miniatures for role playing, and so he is 100% down to make a series about his favorite tabletop war game.
So everything works out.
Everything works out. It all comes out in the wash.
Well, I mean, guy was unemployed for about 30 seconds. Now he's got another big job, and we're gonna have another Superman. I'll miss Henry, but kids, I'm a pro. I've had a couple Supermans in my lifetime.
You'll have a couple more.
George Reeves, my fucking Chris Reeves, my fucking Tom Welling, my fucking Brandon Routh, my fucking Henry Cavill. Who's the current guy?
Tyler Hoechlin.
Fucking
Dean Cain.
Dean fucking Cain. I've seen every Superman. Dean Cain. I can't do the list, but fucking a pro is used to seeing a couple different faces in the costume and stuff. So as much as I'll miss Henry, it's like, well, that's what happens. Like sooner or later, there's another Superman. Like there's another Batman. Like there's another James Bond. Like there's another Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Everything old is new again. All things must change.
I'm into it. I mean, I'm into the idea of more DC movies. I don't think you get away with too many reboots. I mean, in comics, we've seen that be diminishing returns when they reboot their entire universe. But I think in this case, they may get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's the time for it.
I think I mean, I know like the internet, some portions of the internet are mad at him, but like James Gunn writing a fucking Superman script is like this nation doesn't deserve that. That's a Christmas miracle right there. What a gift.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I'm a little curious about is I'm sure they had some meetings with other writers, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'll do that. I'll go pitch my Superman take to James Gunn. It's like, I hope I get it. At the end of the day, it's like, well, who got the job? The guy you pitched to. Like, he gave himself the job of writing Superman, which on the one hand, you don't give James Gunn that job unless you want James Gunn to actually write and direct some of those movies. But on the other hand, it's like, oh man, I thought I had a shot. You didn't.
Seth Martin in chat says Super Friends the movie is what I'm looking forward to. Enough of this depressing shit. Oh, could you imagine if fucking we get to a place where they just call the movie Super Friends?
In the Hall of Justice.
Yeah. Remember, I would play it again, but remember we played it one time and we got thrown off fucking YouTube?
I know.
Bum, 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 bum. From the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Listen to it again. Superman, Batman and Robin, Aquaman, Wonder Woman.
And the weird Native American guy.
Came later on. Man. See, everyone's like, you go woke, you go broke, and everything's woke now. Kids, it was woke when we were kids too. Like, they started diversity happened in the late 70s, early 80s, kids. Like, they started being like, hey, there's a lot more than just fucking white people.
Spoilers.
So I've seen it all. I've seen so many Supermans. I've seen Apache Chief.
I've seen attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion.
I've seen Tears and Rain.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. I will also apparently get to see Donald Glover play the Hypno Hustler. Did you know this was a thing that was going to happen?
No.
Donald Glover is attached to star and produce a feature set in Sony Pictures' Spider-Man universe, playing the Hypno Hustler, who was created by Bill Mantlo, he of Rocket Raccoon fame. Hypno Hustler was a product of the disco music scene when he first appeared in the Spectacular Spider-Man number 24, 1978. His real name was Antoine Delsoin, the leader of a band called the Mercy Killers, and he used hypnosis technology in his instruments to rob his audiences. He regularly shows up on worst supervillains of all times lists, but Glover apparently is all about the musical aspect of the character and the fact that he has less Marvel canon baggage. So, like, Childish Gambino wants to play a sort of disco period villain in his own Spider-Man offshoot movie. Fine.
I'm ready.
Give it to me.
I'm so ready.
I mean, all of it sounds just so daffy that I'm here for it.
Rick Jones in chat goes, go home, Sony, you're drunk.
Stop it. You're going to ruin everything.
DJ Kento says this should be a musical and he should produce the music. Let's go. This could be fun as fuck. I like that kind of optimism. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean,
right. Oh my God. Humongous feature. Otto Maton says versus Dazzler. Is she part of the Spider-Man universe? She's a mutant.
She's a mutant. So that has to become some inter-company jammy jam, but not impossible.
If you can make it happen. It is the Atlanta Emmy-winning Donald Glover.
Grammy-winning Childish Gambino as the Hypno Hustler. Yeah, I'm here for it.
What other news?
That is all the news, my friend.
That's it? That's all that's happening?
That's all that's happening. It was a quick hit news day.
Let's talk a little bit about Black Adam. That continues to not go
get a sequel.
It's been it seems like I see a lot of negative stories aimed at or about The Rock based on Black Adam. He always appeared to me as very like invulnerable.
Mm.
You know, no, there's no shit ever, and no shit would ever stick. But the Black Adam situation, there's a story about how he was out there going, "Oh no, it's profitable. Here, why?" And he told Deadline, and apparently that wasn't the case or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like The Rock has always been the kind of Teflon pitchman
Mm-hmm.
in that he could be reliably counted on to deliver 50 million people worth of Instagram, Twitter followers or whatever
Mm-hmm.
at whatever thing he was making. And, you know, however invested he was in it, be it his tequila brand, be it, you know, movies, good, bad, or indifferent, like he would get in, he would sell it, the selling was over, and he'd move on. And it just feels as if what the Black Adam of it all, there's not just he seems to have wrapped some of his personality into Black Adam's success and or failure. Maybe because it's part of the one of the longest things he's worked on. In his, you know, telling of it, he's been wanting to make this movie for some 15 years, and he finally did. But the feeling that he's almost trying to gaslight the audience into somehow believing that a thing that wasn't a hit was a hit, that a thing that probably won't get a sequel will. His doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on its box office fortunes, you know, I think it's rubbing people the wrong way. You know, it's like, hey man, like I get it. You made a movie you wanted to make and it didn't go well. But move on to the next thing. That's what you do. That's what you did when Red Notice came out, and that movie's awful. But like you came out, you sold it, you made, you know, ads with all the characters in it talking about vodkas and gins, and then you went on to make other stuff. But it's the unwillingness to let it go. You know, The Rock is beginning to feel petty, and nobody wants that guy to feel petty. And it's an emotional response to his emotional response, and that I think is what's giving people pause.
We're not getting a Black Adam 2, it looks like.
It does not seem like we are. The box office receipts would not indicate that there's room for it. You know, maybe there is a plan. Maybe like we don't know the totality of what James Gunn and Peter Safran are building for the DC Studios ongoing slate. But you know, it's not as if it's an undeniable box office hit that would demand more. It wasn't Black Panther. Nor does it feel like it's a character that is inherently crucial to an ongoing version of that story the way Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman are, or even Brainiac or Lex Luthor are, or the Joker is. He's kind of a fourth-tier villain for a character who may not get more movies, namely Shazam. And they went a different way with Shazam. Shazam was totally never going to allow for an angry ex-slave to be resurrected from the past to do battle with a child. In the greatest American hero version of Shazam. And so without that connective tissue, he's a bit on an island. And it does not seem like it's an island anybody wants to visit again.
Your analogy of Shazam as the greatest American hero is one that I have never thought of until this moment.
I mean, that's what Zach Levi is doing. And it's working. I mean, it's the first movie did very well. I saw the trailer for the second movie and it's like, no, that looks fun. Not entirely for me, but I don't know how to be a superhero is what that story is.
Right. I guess that is the greatest American hero. Look at what's happening to me.
I can't believe it myself.
Doom is not good for a fucking duet.
No, it isn't. I mean, I know
you
people.
Go, and then I go. You start and then I'll follow.
But where do we start now?
You start with "Look at what's happening to me."
Okay. Look at what's happened to me.
I can't believe it myself. Take it.
Flying away in the top of the world.
Suddenly I'm upon top of the world.
See, I forgot the first part. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world.
Should have been somebody else. Together. Believe it or not,
I'm walking on air. I never thought I could be so free, flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
Believe it or not, it's Zach Levi.
I feel like this is a perfect time to do our second ad.
Yeah, I have half the people tuned out with the singing, so now
Yeah.
try to sell them something. Kids, we got another sponsor, and it's an old favorite of mine. All the old faves are coming out for our holiday show here, which may not be the last show of the year. We might do another one before
It's
the end.
possible.
So don't this ain't the last one. This is just the holiday one. And when I say holiday, I mean Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever. Is there another Christmas I'm missing?
Is there another Christmas? Well, there's like Greek Christmas. There's Orthodox Christmas.
What do they do?
I think it's just more food.
I want to be part of that religion.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Fucking hey, I could
Hey,
use them.
Weddings take forever, but the food is good.
Tis the season for clean balls. La, 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 la. Help segue. Our friends at Manscaped are helping you clear your driveway for safe travels this holiday season. Once again, this is pearls before swine. This is some of the best copywriting in the business. Whoever's writing this shit deserves a raise. This is the next John Hughes right here. Because John Hughes came from advertising. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He wrote a jingle, a very famous one. I forget which one it is. It might have been like this shit, or fucking, I don't know, aftershave or something, or Gillette. But he wrote a pretty famous campaign.
The best a man can get.
Yeah, something like that. Or there's something about an aqua velva man, something like that.
Plop plop fizz fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
I don't think that was his because that predates him, but it's something that big where you're like, what? Like this guy had Breakfast Club and that? Like,
Looks like a pump, feels like a sneaker.
I want to, no, he didn't do that. Is that a condom?
That was Easy Spirit loafers for women.
Kids, we ain't talking about any of that. We're talking about Manscaped. From stocking stuffers to white elephants, Manscaped's products are at the top of every wish list. Grab some crop mops for your pops, or the body buffer for the holiday lover. Win this year's white elephant gift and help all the men in your life go from eggnog to nice hog. Wow. This December, it's saved 20% off plus free shipping by going to Manscaped, manscaped.com/fatman. Do it right now, man. Save 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/fatman. That's right. 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com/fatman. Manscaped for a perfect gift that will be the holidays' biggest hit, man. Manscaped takes all the hair off your nuts so your junk looks bigger. It's that simple.
Perception game.
Yes. It's all about objective permanence.
Forced perspective.
See, kids, when the horizon's on the top, when the horizon's on the bottom, it's interesting. When the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as shit.
So put smaller things in the foreground of your dick pics to make it look bigger, and also crop that mop.
You know who loved Manscaped? The great John Ford.
He didn't call it Monument Valley for nothing.
Tell them what they're getting, Mark, when they fuck with the good folks at Manscaped.
Manscaped is a one-stop shop for all your holiday needs. They have the perfect gift in the Platinum Package 4.0, plus loads of little presents perfect for stocking stuffers. Manscaped offers a handful of their liquid formulations, shampoos, body washes, upstairs and downstairs deodorant, gels, exfoliant, everything you could possibly need to keep it clean. And don't let your chestnuts roast in the wrong boxers. Get them a pair of Manscaped boxers, specifically designed to keep the area cool and provide holiday comfort all year round. Dad has nasty nose hairs? Save his life with a Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. Shears 2.0 is their full kit for the nail care, scissors, clippers, tweezers, and a file for the traveling man. There's a new Preserve cologne that brings a light, breezy, woodsy feel and gives that fresh tree scent even after Christmas is over. And if you're still using a loofah, Introducing the Body Buffer. Loofahs actually hold bacteria from dead skin, but help them throw out that disgusting old loofah and get the body scrubber that feels smoother but acts tougher. Lastly, top off that stocking with the crown jewel for their family jewels, the Lawnmower 4.0. The electric razor's advanced skin-safe technology is a life changer and known for reducing nicks and cuts on his Santa sack. Manscaped is here to make holiday shopping a blast by giving products you'll love and make you laugh. So, save 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/fatman. That's right, 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped, manscaped.com/fatman for the perfect gift that will be the holiday's biggest hit.
We thank the good folks at Manscaped for being a sponsor, not just tonight, but many nights that we've done Fat Man Beyond. But especially
Indeed.
this week, the earliest Fat Man Beyond we've ever done.
Indeed. The afternoon delight.
Truly. Afternoon delight. Tyler Hall or Tyler Rehall in chat says the Edge credit card shave was by John Hughes.
Oh.
That he created that campaign.
Okay. I was hoping it was
Something more famous than that, right?
some more famous than that.
My bad. I set you up for fucking big expectations. But Edge credit card, like a lot of people in the 60s, 70s might remember that. Anyway, enough about fucking P. Wayne Smith says like watching live ads in the 50s. No, those cats, they had their dignity.
Yeah, they wore suits and ties. They stood up in front of mics.
I have a suit jacket.
You do?
A thermal waffle shirt because let me tell you something, Mr. Marc Bernardin, it is cold in New Jersey. I'm a man that fancies a walk up Runyon Canyon when he's in Los Angeles. Where sometimes I get up in Los Angeles and like, ooh, 50 and turn the heat on. Fucking I went hiking yesterday and today, did my 4.5 miles each day. I wore so many fucking layers, so many thermals, and a big purple fucking coat and a full face mask that made me look like, the fucking Taskmaster, and a backwards baseball cap just to complete the look. Fingerless gloves because I didn't have any gloves, but Josh Roush had fingerless gloves. But let me tell you something: fingerless gloves in this weather, bullshit.
Nope.
Nobody will turn the heat up in this goddamn state. The more I bitch about it, the more people are like, you realize the 20s and the 10s are coming, right? And I'm like, no. You mean there's something below 30?
I love how you decided to move to the East Coast in the worst time to be in the East Coast. Like I'm the anti-snowbird. I'm a heat bird.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I got a movie theater and I gotta make it work. I got 6 months to make it work. Really, I have a lifetime, but making it work in the first 6 months makes the rest of the lifetime easier and stuff. So I've devoted myself to being at Smodcastle and making it work.
God bless you, Kevin Smith.
You want to come join me on New Year's Eve? It'll take me literally 12 seconds to get from my apartment to the stage. Now I'm just bringing it. George Carlin said this job would be great if everyone would just come to my house. And I always thought that was like, oh, he's right. And now I've got that.
You did it.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Living in a filmmaker living above a movie theater is like a fucking cobbler living in a giant shoe. It's just adorable.
I mean, I don't know why this wasn't the premise for some sitcom back in like 1987.
Don't think it's not gonna be, Mark. But apparently now's not the time to pitch. Did you read that New York Times article about the bloodbath that's going on in development right now? So with all the implosion, whatever the fuck, with everything collapsing now, the golden era of streaming, the golden age of streaming, they're saying has come to an end because, starting with HBO Max going like, fuck this, we're getting rid of all this shit. Netflix is starting to follow suit. I guess Hulu to some degree. They said the two of them that haven't done it yet are Apple and Amazon. They're actually making more shit, but they're not beholden to the mores of the business because they sell technology and toilet paper. So that's where their money comes from and stuff. But the entertainment industry folks are cinching the belts and apparently like nothing's getting made right now. So you can go in and you could be fucking, J.J. Abrams, James Cameron pitching a thing, and they're like, I don't know, that sounds expensive. So it seems to be like a time not to even be pitching. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be bad for the next couple of months until people do realize, like, yeah, we actually have to make new shows. Like, we have to have some new things to put on our services, be they linear TV, terrestrial TV, cable, broadcast, or streaming. But I don't think anybody's writing big checks for a while until the sort of business shakes itself out and finds level, whatever that looks like, which basically looks like it's going to be TV in the early 2000s again, which is, hey, welcome to free ad-supported television. You mean like television? Yeah, just like television. Except now it's on an app instead of on a channel on your dial, which is the worst version of television.
In chat, Chris Collins says, super excited about Amazon making a Stephen King Dark Tower series. Is that true?
Yeah, Mike Flanagan, the guy who had done whatchamacallit, the whole suite of things. Dr. Sleep and
Sleep guy.
yeah, no, a bunch of stuff on Netflix like Midnight Mass. I wanted to say Fall of the House of Usher, but that might not be right. But yeah, like, he's in business. He's in the Stephen King business and trying to crack the uncrackable, which is the Dark Tower. There have been a handful of versions of goes at it. There was the one that became the weird kids gunslinger movie with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. Glenn Mazzara, similarly for Amazon, was taking a run at it as a sort of maxi series. The movies were supposed to be, there was a whole version where Ron Howard was going to make, like, I'm going to do a movie and then a season of TV and then a movie and then a season of TV, and that was going to be the way that story was going to get told. But that proved, I think, too ambitious and a little too odd for an audience to grasp, and so that never happened. And so Mike Flanagan is making a go at it, and we'll see. I wish him luck.
He's busy all the time. He's working like that.
Yeah, no, he likes to work, which is the best way to be if you're a creative person.
God bless him. He got up at a Q&A in Vancouver. I was up there for I think we were showing Clerk, the Malcolm Ingram's documentary, and he was the first question. He got up and he was like, my name's Mike Flanagan. I make films and TV shows. I was like, I fucking know who you are. And he said very kind things about me. He's like, I met you years ago and you were like super nice to me, and like that always meant something, blah blah blah, just that. And I was like, well, fucking Mike, this means the world. You're very successful now. Fucking hire me. Put me to work. Give me a goddamn job, Mike. And he was like, oh, but he didn't hire me.
No. You jest, yeah. Surely.
I don't jest. I got a mortgage to pay, Mike. God damn it. Dude, now that I got a movie theater. Lovely dude.
I've heard nothing but good things.
Okay, shall we talk about the big blue cats? The big blue cats.
Let's.
The big blue cats. The big blue cats. Kids, me and Mark saw Avatar.
I haven't now seen it twice.
I don't mean this to sound...
Why?
Genuinely inquisitive. Was there, like, you had to see it with somebody else, or?
Precisely. I went opening night with the fellas, and then I went again yesterday with my wife and back from college son. And so I've now devoted 6 hours and 42 minutes to the adventures of blue cats in space.
Here's what I know about this movie, kids. James Cameron makes that first Avatar movie years ago and kind of pushes mocap forward. You know, and I'm not saying he's the only one. I'm sure people are like, hey man, fucking Gollum. Yes, I understand. But you know, making an entire movie full of characters that are all mocap and shit, you know, say what you will, that's groundbreaking. And it's all difficult. Like, it takes years. And then one day the dude's like, I'm going to do it all again, but now I'm going to add water.
The hardest thing in the world to do.
Even like, you go talk to Steven Spielberg, about the Fablemans, and then afterwards you go talk to him about Jaws, and he'll tell you like making a movie with water is fucking almost killed my career. Making a movie with digital water, even harder because that water's not real. Now I'm gonna give you an example of a shot. There's a moment in this movie where there's a human character dragging a blue cat out of the water. It's not very spoilery, just that's what happens. The human character is a boy, so say 13. So he's not even tall like a real man, he's a boy. And the shot lasts maybe, I don't know, 12, 20 seconds of him pulling this big blue cat out of the water. And as I was watching it, I was like, all that fucking shot, like before they get into the dialogue, before they do anything else, just a wide establishing of him pulling the blue cat out of the water, like is so incredibly unreal that almost every element had to be fucking created or recreated, with the exception of the human child, because he's not really lifting a giant blue cat out of the water. He's lifting a guy in a mocap suit out of the water who is not nearly proportionally the same size as the blue cat he'll be replaced by. So because of that, the difficulty level of that shot is inherently fucking increased. If there's no water, like it's hard enough, but then everything has to have a sheen of water on it and look realistic and not fall into the uncanny valley. Every shot in this movie is an incredible special effect that when you watch the credits took like fucking thousands of artisans to figure out and complete. And it's spellbinding. You almost can't judge it like a fucking normal ass movie. Except that he is a very good storyteller. You can say what you will about Jim Cameron. He knows satisfying storytelling beats, as we've seen time and time again in his movies. You know, there were those here. I just feel like they would have been easier to gather if it was a little shorter. This was a 3 hour and 20-minute movie. Is that what it was?
About that, you know, I almost feel like nobody wants to give a specific how much plus 3 hours was it. Like, is it 3:15, 3:17, 3:20? It's just, it's 3 hours and more. 3 hours plus. And yeah, like I described it to somebody as every James Cameron movie ever made in the same movie. Like by the time you get to the finale, you will have spent times with Space Marines. You will have spent time on a sinking boat. You'll have spent time under the water. You've been in the Abyss. You've been in Aliens. You've been in Titanic. I mean, the only one that you're kind of missing is True Lies because there's no weird striptease happening in the middle of it.
The very first $100 million movie, $100 million budget movie was True Lies. So this is not unfamiliar territory for James Cameron to be like, what's the thing cost? I'm going to spend way more than that.
Right.
But to be fair, True Lies notwithstanding, in the Avatar movies, while he, you know, completes his vision or brings his vision to life, he also pushes the medium forward, like technologically. So like, you know, there's the, hey, he's making a movie, and then there's the whole, hey, he's pushing a medium forward. But to do so, you know, they spend an ungodly amount of money. It was, I think I saw the budget was 464 million.
I've heard lots of different numbers, but it would not surprise me, especially given that he shot, I think, 2, 3, and 4 back to back. And so, and he's got apparently a 9-hour cut of the next Avatar movie that he needs to render all the VFX for. But he's going to show it to Fox and be like, here's what it is.
I saw that story on the internet, and I'm not saying like they're lying. I just can't imagine that's fucking true. That he wants to, there's a 9-hour cut and he wants to finish the effects, not even temp effects, finish them the way they look in the movie, and then decide what to cut.
Well, I think it's, I'm hoping.
Word?
What I heard and what I think is probably true are there's 9 more hours of movie. Now, what parts of it are going to be in Avatars 3 and 4? What parts are we moving the midpoint of? I don't think we're going to cut 9 hours down to 3 hours and then we're going to go and we're going to res everything. I think this is the material for the next 2, maybe 3 movies. Here's what we have. But even still, wanting to render all of it and then start making edits to it does seem weird, but hey,
That's expensive.
it's expensive.
But if you're a person who's made billions of dollars for people, you're like, it's what I want. I've always wanted to do this, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And if anyone's going to get away with it, it'd be that guy, I'm sure.
I mean, for me, like I remember seeing the first Avatar, and I've always felt about James Cameron. He's one of my favorite filmmakers, but I've always felt like the more money he got to make his movies, the less deep and insightful his screenplays for those movies were. They become basic, and I don't mean basic as a pejorative. I mean they become elemental, right? Like Titanic's screenplay is not the screenplay that Terminator 2 was, which is not the screenplay that Aliens was. It is just it's a romance. Here are these 2 people who meet, I'm not even gonna say cute, except cute, and then they're in the middle of chaos, and then they find each other, and then one of them dies because apparently you can't put 2 people on a door. But so like that script is not full of finesse, but it becomes mythic, it becomes archetypal. And Avatar continues that by making it, Fern Gully Pocahontas on a distant planet with blue kittens. Here's the encroachment of colonization, here's the natural response to said colonization, and also a romance in the middle of it, a bit of Romeo and Juliet. And it's still very, like, you can see all of the building blocks of those stories and how they do kind of just weld together, and they have a mythic heft to it, and so it works. But he's still an expert craftsman. He's an expert director. He knows how to do drama and action. And so I sort of felt less invested in the story this time around because now there's not even the tension of will they fall in love or won't they? It's we are in love. We have a family. Are we going to lose one of these kids? Maybe. Who knows? But it's no longer the tension of those 2 cultures colliding. It's now, oh, the colonization is back. Spoiler alert. The gentle plot spoiler of the movie is the sky people have returned to Pandora to do the same thing they were going to do before.
That was honestly, like the one thing that's in the first, 10, 20 minutes of the movie, right? They do a kind of, previously on Avatar, and not
Right.
so much of the movie, but more of what's been happening on Pandora since. And then all of a sudden they're like, but then the sky people came back, and I'm like, you're kidding.
Just we're going to do that again?
Yeah, I was like, what? Is there a second Death Star? Is this Return of the Jedi? Why are we
Yeah.
going? Why are the
Somehow
Sky-
Palpatine returned.
But let's be fair. This time they didn't come back for unobtainium. They came back for something else.
Yes, for a different thing that has a name that is also
The drippy, gooey heart of this movie. People are like, did you cry? I did not, but I got very close on the space whales, on the Pandora whales, the Navi whales, whatever they were called. That was pretty hard to watch. But the whole time I kept going like, it's just these are special effects. This isn't.
Yeah, like this is ultimately an animated movie.
Yeah.
Because the amount of actual live action photography, I'd love to know how much there was. I don't think there's a bunch. I think we're on boats now, so the boats are real. But everything else, every other thing with a blue kitten in it is a VFX. Every time you're in the water, there's no water there. Every time you're with an animal, there's no animal there. It's remarkable. Like it is a thing to behold. And I saw it at the TCL Chinese cinema in IMAX 3D, and it's unbelievable. Like it is just so immersive. It is so tactile. But
I saw it at Smodcastle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, and we did not have a 3D screening, obviously, and stuff. But normally I watch stuff on my phone, so I was that me watching on a big screen that wasn't a 3D screen was still an event for me.
Yeah, no, it is. It's astonishing to look at, and every single cent of those $400 million is on the screen. It's never like, what did they spend the money on? Just look at it. setting money on fire in order to capture it and put it on the screen for you. It's remarkable, but it's a lot of movie. There's a whole nature documentary right in the middle of this movie where there's no actual bad guy threat. It's just we're gonna swim with some fish.
It all the money is there. You can see it. Like, look at all the money. Look at the money roll by. It's big. It's a lot of movie.
It's a lot of movie.
Could have used slightly less movie.
Yeah, that movie could have been 245, and you wouldn't have missed anything.
But to be fair, as I was watching it, I couldn't think of a single storyline to drop. So it would have been frame fucking it. But there's a lot of frames to fuck. So
there is. But it's some of the story begins to get repetitive after a while, which is to give you a basic plot of what this movie is, without spoiling very much of it. In the intervening years between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2, Jake Sully, who has a completely...
No, Jake Sully!
No, Jake! Magic! Magic!
A couple times in the movie, I was like, yeah, call back. Magic! She's wonderful, man. Fucking, like, honestly, I believe, I know this for a fact, Zoe Saldana is a Jersey person. She comes from Jersey just like me. And they bury her under effects, and you could still see her performance shining through. And she does Misery so fucking well, man.
Yeah,
like she's just like and just letting it out. Oh, she's fantastic. And then she goes into fucking like Terminator mode.
Yeah, there's a lot in this movie of like dudes being stoic with grief and women screaming their faces off with grief, to the point where you're like, so why? Every now and again, I would just, why this? Why is this the standard grief response to women versus men to you, James Cameron? But glancing past that, it is now Jake and Neytiri have 4 children, one of which is apparently the Immaculate Conception of something with Sigourney Weaver's character, who just
Shane Kalman, who is our AD on Clerks 3, he came to that Kevitar screening that we had. And it was, hey, Mikey back there? Can you plug this in? My computer's about to go. He came in 10 minutes late. And at the end of the movie was just like, I hate to say this, but I came in 10 minutes late. What happened? Like, because they included a crucial amount of information in the like 10 minutes. It was a very like, hey man, we're going to get you there. There's a lot to catch up on, and here we go. And if you did come in late, you were kind of screwed.
A little bit, and so Jake and Neytiri have these 4 kids. The Sky People have returned. Jake is now leading the insurgency. And then for reasons, they have to abandon their home base because an enemy from the past has returned and is on a balls out quest to kill Jake Sully. And so Jake has to keep his family safe. Our family is our fortress, whatever. And so they leave the forest, and then they go to these sea people. And then they go over, islands into the sea, and then they find what apparently is New Zealand, blue New Zealand, filled with the people who make their lives in the sea. They got thicker tails, they got webbed feet, and they've evolved to be sea people. And they think that they'll be safe there until the same guy who was chasing them from the forest finds them in the water. And so it becomes literally a fish out of water story about the Sully family learning to adapt to sea life and meeting other kids and the bullies and the I don't fit in. And then there's the 2 sons, one of which is the dutiful, one of which is the bit of the rebel, but he's understood. Dad, you just don't understand me, Dad. I'm an outcast, Dad. Lots of things.
That was a nice moment though at the end where he's like, I see you.
Yes, it's a long road to hoe to get to what seemed to be.
I see you, and then from nowhere she was like, "No, Jake Sully,
I do not see you, Jake Sully."
My Jake. Oh, I love it. My Jake. She's so fucking good, man. They keep burying her in makeup. Like, why won't they let her be a human being in these movies?
That is an excellent question. Any of these questions?
Fucking, what's the cat's name?
Netiri.
Netiri. The name. I look. There were so many blue cats, and they were real quick with the names. So, I know Jake Sully because
Jake Sully, and I know that the Sigourney Weaver teenager was Kitty, which I think is Kidi and not Kitty.
Now, that was one of the things Shane was lost about. He's like, "Where'd that girl come from?" I was like, "The way I understand it, she was an immaculately conceived child from Sigourney Weaver's blue cat." No,
yes,
but Sigourney Weaver died and was eaten by the tree, right?
Right.
But her blue cat body then had a baby.
Right.
I mean, look, guy can do what he wants. He's a great storyteller, but like, yep, that happens before the movie. That seems compelling and dramatic, and a mystery. Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
But
I mean, the long con.
He had so much story to tell that he could do that in a preamble.
And I'm sure that will be the mystery going forward as to now, like, who's her dad? Why does she seem to be like Forrest Jedi, where she's controlling the animal world with her brain stem stuff? And so it is both a big movie about, again, colonization and environmentalism. It is the most like Save the Whales movie since Star Trek 4.
Last movie was like Save the Trees. This one's like Save the Whales.
Yeah.
Star Trek 4. Excellent.
I've seen so much whale business in Star Trek 4.
And there was a harpoon scene in that movie as well that also involved like a spaceship.
Yep. Yes, it did.
Oh, good poll. Everyone's telling me in chat that Zoe Saldana played Uhura, and Uhura is a human. I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
I know she's been in things without makeup. It was a bit of the old funny observation.
Ha, ha, ha.
Pithy throwaway. We try to be funny here, but I love getting fact checked. Thank you.
Yeah.
She's on our wall at the movie theater. In the lobby, we got a wall full of like famous people from New Jersey, and she's up there.
Nice.
As Gamora.
Zoe Saldana, which is how she's not pronouncing it.
She don't pronounce it that way, right?
She actually does. She stretches. She's got the tilde over the end, so it is Zoe Saldana.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I had no idea, man. That's awesome. That's like Mañana.
Saldana.
Saldana.
So yeah, like there's a lot of story. There's a lot of look how awesome this looks. There's a lot of things that could have been a conversation that weren't, that might have short-circuited some of what might have felt like teenage bullshit drama. It's got 9 different endings, and all of which are endings to other James Cameron movies, like the boat's rolling over, get to the top of it. Like, yeah, no, I remember that from Titanic. It's like, oh, the water's coming in, we got to go from compartment to compartment. So yeah, that's the bit from The Abyss. Okay, all right, I liked it then, I like it now.
Yeah, it is kind of like a Jim Cameron's greatest hits thing. He's like, I know how to do this.
Yeah, we did it like this on The Abyss, except we were actually underwater, and that was bad. So now we're just on the volume, which is good. But yeah, and I do like the lengths to which he goes, especially from a design perspective, to build a world you've never seen before. Like the flora and the fauna and even the ships and the tech and all of it is also incredibly bespoke and also like
very imaginative. Like you're living inside the dude's imagination. And, most people kind of like dismiss Jim Cameron as like oh, he likes to make expensive movies and he yells and I'm the king of the world and shit like that. But it's like, he must have an incredibly fertile imagination. Like, look at the stories that he tells. Look at how colorful that movie is. He has to create every species, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even before you film a frame, he's made an entire universe.
Yeah, like and it's all out of whole cloth, except for his desire to strip mine cultures for alien specificity, which is, what are the new sea people like? Well, they're just Maori, but they're now a lighter shade of green. Down to the facial tattoos, down to the haka poses, down to like we cast a a New Zealander to be the king of this particular Mitkaina tribe.
Who played the queen?
That was Kate Winslet.
Which I didn't realize until the movie was all over. I saw her name in the credits. I was like, oh yeah, she was doing press, but who was she? And then I was like, wait a second.
Hold
So
on.
was she pregnant while they were making the movie? Is that why he made her pregnant?
I don't. I saw there was some behind the scenes featurette that dropped today about like the actors getting into character, and there was some shot of her looking pregnant. I don't know if that was an application on the suit or whether she was actually pregnant and they made that part of the movie. I don't know. But it was just like, dude, like, why not extend that same level of rigor and invention into the cultural specificity of the Na'vi, as opposed to in the first one making them sort of First Nations, sort of plains forest warriors like Navajo or Cherokee, and now you've made the Sea People Maori, and like it's so one to one that it's a little like, huh, you just kind of took what you wanted. You colonized the Maori for your movie and took what you wanted and left the rest. And so that was the one part that kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. Like, make an alien that's actually alien. Like, I understand you wanting to mirror the metaphorical story of colonization. I get it. But like, do they have to do war cries? Do they have to yelp from the top of horseback? Do they have to all of these things that just feel a little disingenuous? But you know, it is so much movie, you will find something to like in it, even if you don't like all of it.
I heard that they come to Earth in the last one.
I mean, you're running out of places to go, so I get it. That makes sense.
That might make me stick around. They go to Earth, do they?
They get a ship now?
Oh, that's gonna fuck with Earth. Let's see what that happens. It'd be amazing if they go to Earth in the last one and they're like, give us back our unobtainium and all the whale brain jizz that was stolen.
Yeah. And why poor Jermaine Clement had to talk in his American accent with Jane Grey as whale scientist.
That was him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was looking at it going, this guy looks familiar, but like I didn't realize it was him. Wow.
Yeah.
Seamless, rolled into hidden in his performance, like although he didn't have the benefit of all that Na'vi makeup.
No, he just got to show up on the day.
Somebody asked in chat, did I make it through the entire time without having to go to the bathroom? Yeah, I got a pretty good bladder. I don't mean to brag, but pretty good.
Very strong. For an older man, pretty strong.
Absolutely. But no, I brought some snacks with me and I settled in. I brought all my snacks from home and I told the audience like the snacks at the movie theater are overpriced. And sat there and ate my own snacks, but did not check out to go to the bathroom. Stayed the whole time. Saw every damn second.
Yeah. I mean, I did as well, although there's 100% times I could have gotten up and left and come back and not missed much. It's like, are they still swimming?
The movie when they were all like, I'm blue, ba-da-dee, da-da-da. Well, Lord knows he's a better filmmaker than any of us will ever be. And somebody said, like, you know, the world he created looked imaginative, but the screenplay was not. Well, that's why I didn't say that the screenplay was imaginative. I said we live in his imagination. All the colorful characters, he has to create every character and stuff. He's a world builder now.
Yep. He is. And it's an astonishing world.
What do you think? Do you think it reaches the story is it has to make $2 billion to break even?
Well, I mean, it is currently at, let me see, $134 million was its opening weekend. It's now at 301 million global after week one. It
How
will,
much? What?
yeah, it's made $301 million international after the first weekend.
So they're up to $500 million already.
Almost. I mean, global includes the domestic as well.
Well, the global ones, I think they're up to 464.
Yeah, could be.
I think between the U.S. and overseas, it was close to $500 million. A strong start, but not a start that indicates they'll get to 2 billion. However, never bet against Jim Cameron.
Right.
His movies, like, you know, Titanic did not open and light the world on fire. It did like 20, 25 million, but then every week it kept doing 20 million, 20 million. And what they said about Avatar 2 is it's not front loaded with pre-sales like a Marvel movie. So when a Marvel movie comes out, the pre-sales all happen like, you know, in the first weekend. Everybody needs to see it. Avatars are spread out over the next few weeks, and there's no competition for this movie. Nothing comes close to what it is. So, you know, there's a race here. Like, he may actually pull this one off.
You know, I mean, it's there are also more, because part of what Avatar, the first Avatar, did was popularize 3D in cinemas. Like, that was the reason why anybody converted their theater into having a 3D screen, is because they wanted Avatar. And so, and Avatar 2 similarly plays incredibly well in 3D. There are fewer of those screens, they cost more to attend. And so people will, if they're going to revisit it, they will revisit those screens in the second go round if they didn't see it in the first go round. I think it plays more than like Maverick played than like Doctor Strange played, which is an older audience is going to be coming to this over a longer amount of time. Like, it will hold better than your average just we came out of the gate hard blockbuster. Does it get to 2 billion? I don't know. Like, you need to be a phenomenon to get to 2 billion. And I don't know if this is a phenomenon yet.
Somebody in chat corrected me and said it needs, Boat Trek says it needs 1.2 billion. So that's 800 million less than 2 billion.
Yeah.
And they're almost at the halfway mark already.
Yeah. No, there's a chance that it'll get there. You know, if not a lock, but definitely a chance. You know, there are still, like, we're not quite at full pre-pandemic numbers of attendance to movies, but we're getting there for certain movies. We're probably 90% where we were. And so it's got a good shot. It's got a good shot. And to your point, there's nothing that big going up against it. There's smart counter programming, but there's not some direct giant blockbuster in the offing. I think even until like February.
Well, you know, go see it, kids.
Yeah.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, the next real movie that could chip away at it is Quantumania.
Which is what, February?
February 17th.
Did you hear in all that James Gunn stuff that James say that they very interested in Ben Affleck directing something for the new DC studios?
Yeah. I mean,
my boy's wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
My boy's wicked smart. He could totally direct the shit out of one of them pictures, man.
I mean, he almost directed a Batman movie. Got very close to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. All right. Do we have anything else to say about, everyone's saying my mic is low. I don't have a mic. I'm using the same fucking mic I always use, which is the laptop mic. Mark, overachiever of the week, has a brand new microphone. So you're getting the rich, silky, smooth sounds of Marc Bernardin's voice. Me, you're dealing with an open space store. Normally I'm in a closed environment, but for those who came in late, actual comic book damn store, kids.
Word them up.
Word them up. Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, located in Red Bank, New Jersey. Did I show you my comic book?
No, show me your comic book.
This is one with the exclusive Secret Stash cover by Andrew Thomas. There's Holden McNeil, aka Ben Affleck, wearing Jay's smock from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. What's going on in this story? Buy it and find out. This is an exclusive cover from Mike Allred, man, from Things from Another World.
Dope.
This is the exclusive cover from Jeff Quigley for Quick Stops, #2, the Stash exclusive cover. And this is Phil Hester's amazing cover.
Oh, I love Phil.
Randall holding Brody. Then, of course, there's Masquerade. Look at this shit. Look at that cover. God damn it, that's beautiful. And this one from Captain Ribman as well. Kev's Comics, kids, Secret Stash Press, published by Dark Horse. Masquerade, now in stores. Quick Stops, now in stores. I think Masquerade number 4 comes out pretty soon. Quick Stops number 3 comes out in a couple of weeks.
Excellent. Well done.
Comics. Banff Man. Oh, Banff Man.
Banff.
Why, hello, Banff Man. I believe we've reached the point of the show where you are our conduit to the audience, although I've been reading chat this whole time. What does the audience want to know? What questions will we be answering?
I've got a few. Hey, I'll shout out, though. When we started doing podcasts 11, almost 12 years ago, there was a guy named Justin Yates and a guy named Joey Harris who shot podcasts, and when we were at the Lovitz. And Justin was the lead assistant editor on Avatar 2. And Joey worked in the visual effects department as well. So we have 2 SMOD alums with their names up in the credits of that movie in pretty decent positions.
I got someone else in that world too. My kid's godmother, Lisa Romaine. She worked on the first Avatar, and then she spent the last few years working, I think, on the second one. In the first Avatar, she was Sigourney Weaver's blue cat body.
Oh, wow.
Mocap for all the Sigourney stuff. And I don't know what she did on this one, but like I remember when she was making the movie, she was trying to explain it like years before it came out. And she was just like, I wear like a lot of dots all over my outfit, and I'm meant to be a giant cat. And I was like, oh, I'm sure that's going to make a lot of money. Yeah, all right. But yeah, so she gave me some inside dope on the shooting of those flicks. And my God, it's a different kind of filming. It's so weird to be like, I'm a filmmaker too. Not really. Not like that.
I mean, it's performance capture is such a weird beast because you're not doing shots. There's no shot selection on the day. Like you're literally getting the performance. So you're not concerned about cameras, you're not concerned about lenses, you're not concerned about lighting, none of it. It's just all performance. And all of the shot selection comes after the fact. So it's like, yeah, we want you walking and jumping and moving and all of that stuff, but it is not about close, wide, to, over, none of that. And that is just such a different way to think about it.
When the first Avatar came out, the job I was at, we interviewed Sigourney Weaver, who was wonderful. And she was sitting around waiting for her next interview to start. And so we were talking. And I asked her, because at the time there was a lot of people talking about how they hated acting against green screen and how it's not really acting. So I asked Sigourney Weaver, who at that time was already a Hall of Fame actress 15 years ago. She said she loved it. And she said she loved it because working on Avatar, she was able to do the scene one time and didn't have to repeat the performance to change camera angles 12 times like they do on a regular movie. Mm-hmm. So she said every performance I gave, they captured every angle. So every take I gave, I got to play. I tweaked it. I went this way. I went that way. I went up. I went down. And that she loved it because she just got to make pretend every day. And she never had to repeat the same performance over and over, which I thought was a really cool way to think about it.
That is cool. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like theater that way, where you're not, I mean, there are takes that you're doing for performance, but you're not stopping we got to move the lights around. You're not stopping for any of it. It's just, all right, let's go again. Let's go again. Let's go again.
In chat, Mark, James Zep is asking, can we talk about the Dr. Seuss cuck chair in Mark's background? How is it a cuck chair? What am I missing? Is that like farting? Something I'm not familiar with?
I don't, hey, whatever that dude wants to think Dr. Seuss does in his off time, it's between him and...
It's not even Dr. Seuss, isn't it Pixar? Aren't you?
Yeah, it's Up.
It sure is.
Yeah, this is Carl and Ellie's living room.
Just like one of our sponsors, Blue Chew, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. Up. Keep it up.
Okay.
Okay. First question.
Oppenheimer trailer. They're asking us about the Oppenheimer trailer. Have you watched it? I haven't seen
I
it.
did. I've seen two versions of it. I saw the IMAX exclusive trailer that they showed before Avatar, and also the Dead Reckoning trailer for Mission Impossible, whatever that is, where Tom Cruise drives himself off a cliff on a motorcycle. The whole trailer is just look at it's Snake Canyon all over again. It's Evil Knievel type shit. It's we built this ramp off this cliff in Norway that I'm going to ride a motorcycle off the edge of. And let's show you how we built it. Let's show you the run up to it. And you're going to see me, Tom Cruise, do this fucking thing. People fucking cheered in the theater for him driving a motorcycle off a cliff.
I mean, that's
But
what,
yes.
that's what he does now. Like he's like, yeah, but I also endangered my life every time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the Barbie trailer either. Did you see the Barbie trailer?
I did. There's not much of a trailer to it. It's more like 2001. It's very much, stealing the Dawn of Man sequence, but with a old fucking child's doll, and then the obelisk is a Barbie doll. So it's cool, but it's not much trailer to it. Oppenheimer is so odd to me because it's a fucking July movie about a guy whose
Wait,
name.
what do you mean July?
It's July 23rd, 23, I think, is Oppenheimer.
It's not like coming out this year?
No, it's a giant summer blockbuster about a bunch of scientists who will probably set off a bomb by the end of it.
That's some James Cameron film right there. James Cameron, like, let's go against the grain. What do they like in the summer? Fun movies? Great. Let's make a movie about the nuclear bomb, the atomic bomb.
Yes, it is the
cast. Let me ask you a question. Is this movie in black and white?
No.
Color?
Color. Although there are some black and white, at least according to the trailer, some sequences that are in black and white, but it's very colory.
Well, I ain't gonna see if it's in black and white. I don't like black and white movies.
Fair.
Says the guy who made Clerks. It's funny. All right, Banff man, let's get into it. Hold on, before you do that, Man Z just made an excellent observation in chat. He says Cruise is Jackie Chan now. It's true.
Yep.
True. A big part of his sell is like, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna die, man.
Yeah. Except Jackie Chan wouldn't that wasn't part of the sell of the movie. It was after the movie was over. Look at all the ways I almost died giving you this movie. Yeah. The closing credits were always that montage of Jackie's almost killing himself.
That's true.
Jackie limped so Tom Cruise could run.
And run very fast, as we know. All right, back to you, Bam.
Okay.
I'm fucking chat.
Rob McFarlane wants to know if you knew it was
Rob McFarlane? I love his Spider-Man's amazing.
If you knew it was going to be the best work you ever did, would you rather direct and write a Star Wars film or a Batman film?
Wait, ask the first part again.
You were told, you're clairvoyant, this will be the best project you've ever done. Star Wars or Batman? What do you choose to do?
Well, it's a guaranteed hit either way.
Yes.
So really, it's just about what makes me happy or what would my preference be. God, these are J.J. Abrams level.
It's like your legacy. Do you want your legacy to be Batman, the best Batman, or the best Star Wars?
Be honest, no matter what I make, my legacy is he made Clerks, didn't he? That's the Clerks guy. So it don't matter what I do at this late in the game. Clerks guy gonna be in my epitaph, and I'm fine with that. But in this fantasy world, I'll play along. I would prefer it to be a Batman film over a Star Wars film. I think while Star Wars, of course, was a big part of my childhood, and I've referenced it throughout all the movies, and I was a big Star Wars fan. That just always seemed, it's got robots, fucking spaceships, fucking Wookiees. It just seems complex. Now, Batman, that's just a guy in a fun suit and a mask. And then, the bad guys could be a little wild, but I would keep that shit real. So he wouldn't be fighting, like Apocalypse or Doomsday or anything like that. He'd be fighting Mr. Freeze and Clayface. I couldn't do those guys. I would want to do Mr. Freeze, but that seems like an expensive movie. So I would probably, I mean, they just did the Riddler, so I don't have to come up with my villain. That wasn't the question, right?
No.
I'd choose Batman. I think it would mean, as much as I love Star Wars, I think I'm more of I could pull off a Batman. If you watch, a lot of people are like, you can't pull off shit, including your shirt when you have sex. You're absolutely right. I leave it on. I'm that kind of cuck. That being said, I think I would. I think if you ever saw Red State, motion picture I made a few years ago, is well shot action, especially for a low budget, $4 million. I think I would get Dave Klein, who currently shoots like every Star Wars thing there is, my DP from Clerks and Mallrats Chasing Amy, but also from Red State, and make a real like fucking hardcore action Batman movie where you could see every punch. None of this like frame rate shit, like just wides of Batman beating ass. Like remember Zack Snyder's entire Batman sequence in Batman v Superman?
Mm-hmm.
He explodes into the room and like whips the crate. And, oh my god, like that you saw all the punches. I'm not shitting on Nolan. I love Chris Nolan's Batman, but like I just watched Batman Begins fairly recently. Like, good luck seeing a punch get thrown. The camera's like right in there and doing this shit and whatnot. Whereas like Zack Snyder is like, I'm gonna live in a wide and let you show you all the things he does in the video games. I thought that was cool. But that wouldn't be my Batman, I'll tell you that much, because that seems like a lot of work. My Batman be more like the detective sitting around talking Batman. There'd be a lot of rooftop conversations with Jim Gordon. I'll tell you that much. And a lot of those, they would be like, why do you think they all act this way? Is it you? Or like, if you're not here, do they still dress up and do naughty? Like, what was that all about? Why are they doing crimes, Batman?
Like, I didn't go to school for this. I don't know.
I'm self-taught. What about you?
I think first I will reject the premise of the question and say that if I know that I can make the best movie that I'm ever going to do, then I'm going to make my own new thing and not somebody else's thing. But to buckle under the pressure of the question, I think I go Star Wars and not Batman. I think there's more upside to Star Wars.
Oof. I don't know who has it worse. I don't know who's going to be more angry at you, DC fans or Star Wars fans.
Yeah, probably Star Wars fans.
Well, wait a second. We know this works. That's the premise. Like, it's full.
Whatever it is, it's going to be great, is according to the premise.
March through hell to get there, but at the end of the day, it's fucking everything.
Right. I just think that Andor notwithstanding, I think feature-wise, if I'm making a movie, I think there have been more bad Star Wars movies than there have been good Star Wars movies. And so I think that there's more upshot to make a good Star Wars movie, to make the thing that people will remember as a return to form, as opposed to, oh, well, it's good like The Dark Knight is good, or it's good like Batman Begins is good, or it's good like the OG Batman is good, or it's good like The Batman is good. I think there's more room to dazzle in Star Wars, and there's so much more story to tell that nobody's told. There's a universe in Star Wars where there's a guy in Batman. So I think there's so many more ways to go.
Yes, but fucking
Batman.
I'm going to dig up one of my favorite old tweets, and no, it's not the my wife owns my dick tweet everyone hates on the internet. This is a tweet about Batman, and it started from February 12th. It started from Read the Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin, or Joshua P. something, tweeted, growing up is realizing Batman could have done way more to solve crime in Gotham by giving everyone food and shelter than he did by beating the crap out of people. And then Patrick H. Willems tweeted, yes, this is definitely the solution to when an evil clown poisons the water supply. One of the most brilliant tweets ever written, except his follow-up was even better, is fire. He writes, this is the world's most boring take. Read a comic book. Bruce Wayne funds all those programs, but then also sometimes KG Beast is going on a murdering spree and low-income housing won't solve that. Brilliant. Give that guy a Batman movie. That's how you need to think about the Batman. Victor Garber be my Jim Gordon, by the way.
Nice. Good
Because
point.
then he'd finally have to deal with me.
I did this just to get to talk to Victor Garber.
I'd be like, I need Garber, like he's passing. I was like, offer him $20 million. I will win this battle. All right, Banff, man, get us someplace
Banff.
else.
Okay.
Hello.
If this is, let's see. Look, it's Kulak. Wants to know if you were to make The Fabelmans for yourself, what would be some of the standout points in the film about your life and how you got here?
I just did make The Fabelmans this year.
It's what I've been doing for 30 years.
Way better, but yeah, same idea of like, I'm going to fucking tiptoe through the tulips of my past and how I got here. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, the 4:30 movie is not about a kid who wants to be a movie maker, but about my young life, which was just watching movies. So I guess there's a little bit in there, not much though. Fabelmans is a wonderful movie, still stays with me. And the line in the movie where they say, you can't just love something, you have to take care of it. It's fucking like one of the most powerful things I've ever heard in my life. 52 years, I'd never heard that expression before. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. But that closing scene with John Ford is pure movie magic. And the final shot is probably my favorite final shot of any film, including mine. And I love the closing shot of Clerks 3. But my God, his closing shot where they frame readjusts to put the horizon on the bottom is breathtakingly beautiful. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Clerks 3 is kind of my Fabelman, so it'd be weird to do it again. What about you?
I don't know. Like I have not been that introspective about my path, nor do I think that it is as studded with stars and wonder and glory as Spielberg's was, being, able to hop over a fence and be on a lot and stumble into famous people doing cool shit. Although honestly, the thing that most recently would be in the movie is, I don't know if you hopped upon this on the Instagram about a week or two ago. Your friend and mine, Ming Chen, was producing a podcast where somebody in his network, whose name escapes me at the moment, was interviewing Corey Glover from Living Color. And Corey Glover mentioned that one of his favorite podcasts was Fat Man Beyond. And like, he's like, it's my favorite podcast. I listen to that every time it's out. It's like, I fucks with both of those guys heavy. And so I put it up on Twitter, Instagram. And basically it was, Living Color was for me, when I was growing up, a seminal experience, because I did not encounter various interpretations of what it's like to be a Black person in the media. At that time, in like 1986, 1987, you were either Prince, Michael Jackson, or every other rapper. But Living Color was the thing that gave me license to be a little weird, to get in touch with all of the various parts of me that I had, to a certain degree, been subsuming. Like, I like rock and roll. I like guitars. I like drums. I like classical music. I like rap. I like all of it. And Living Color, being on TV, was a big reason for that. And so Corey Glover reached out and was like, yo, what's your phone number? I was like, what? He's like, yeah. What's your phone number? We need to have a conversation.
Oh my God, you joined the cult of personality?
100%. I joined the cult of personality. And we talked for like an hour the day after as he was driving from someplace like Brooklyn to Jersey or whatever it is. And we're just two nerds talking about the stuff that we love. And I told him, I was like, man, I have to tell you in person the things I put on the internet, how much Living Color meant to me, how much you guys meant to me. It's like, it's a continuum, man. It's like, we meant to you what, James Brown meant to me, and I'm like, yeah, that's what LeVar Burton meant to me, and somebody meant that for LeVar Burton. There is always a continuum of people being inspired by other people to find out who they're supposed to be. And so if I had to have a movie Fableman style about my life, that would be part of it. That feeling of connecting with a person who influenced you, who you discover later on in life, some 25 years later, that you are in turn influencing them. That was kind of wonderful.
That's beautiful. That belongs in the movie. You got a scene.
I'm putting it in the movie.
Build the whole movie around that. Someone in chat said, let me find it. It was cute. They were like, Mark's movie. I can't find it, but it said Mark's movie ends with meeting Kev. That's the fucking beginning of Mark.
That's where it starts. That's Kev inviting me to his house to watch Zack and Miri.
Is that the beginning?
It's not quite the beginning, but it was the first like, hey man, you're in LA. You should come and see the movie. And so I came to your house and you're like, all right, watch the movie. And then you left the room and you left me in the library to watch the movie. And then you came back with a pizza and then we hung out for like 7 hours.
Oh, it was adorable.
It was, that was after playing poker. That was after the poker years. But they're like, yeah, just come and hang out.
Little did we know that one day we'd be doing this.
I know, like every week for a decade.
All the time.
Hell yeah.
All right, Bamf, man.
Bamf.
Fucking take us home with Ask of We, the question 3.
You could make that movie also, Mark, and frame it around the conversation you have with him in the car. Meaning, like, that's the device to get you through the entire movie. You can always bounce in and out of that.
Just talking to Corey.
That's really sweet, man. Isn't it cool when you find out, like, somebody you likes you?
It's like high school all over again. Like, wait,
Really,
what?
You like me? Because I like you. Logic, Bobby, Logic, the rapper. Like we had a very similar kind of stumble across one another meet cute, and it's fun when it's just like, oh, you're an artist, I'm an artist, and you just, like dogs, you sniff each other's asses. Way hotter version of Mark's scene that I just wrote, kids.
You're just sniffing asses.
All right, take us home, JC.
Okay.
What we got?
My headphones just gave out, so that's super weird. If everybody's looking at me like, what's going on?
Alice Delgado chat is saying, my dancing makes it look like I have to pee. I don't, but I'm standing. Normally I do the show in my chair, but I could get a full sway going on because I'm walking around. Look at this shit. I'm going downstairs. Back to you, JC. What do they want to know?
Okay. Let's see. Last question is from Polar Strat. Wants to know, if you could make a Christmas movie with Santa, who would you get to play Santa, and what kind of Santa would they be?
Victor Garber would be my Santa. And he would be the most generous giving Santa there ever was. He would give me an interview for my podcast. No, let's see. You know what? Why would I reward a guy who doesn't want the time of day from me? So no, it won't be Victor Garber. I'm changing my mind.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm James Gunn. I'm canceling shit. Look at me, kids. No. And that's not making fun of James Gunn. I love James Gunn. I don't want anybody writing an article going, Smith questions James Gunn. Never. After Guardians of the Galaxy, I would never question James Gunn. I'd be like, bro, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. All right. Who do I want as my Santa? John Goodman.
Good pull.
Yeah. Goody as Santa? Come on. I'm sure he's done it somewhere. I know he's done it on SNL, I'm sure. That's my answer. I'm sticking with it. What about you?
Taika Waititi. I feel like Taika as a sprightly old elf. I mean, you put him in a fat suit, clearly. But there is a mischievous nature to that particular Santa. Especially if it's a early in Santa's career Santa. Pre like bowl full of jelly, but like a guy who's figuring out how to deliver presents to everybody. I think that's kind of fun.
People suggesting Ben Affleck. Look, I'll cast Ben Affleck in anything. Anything.
Oh, Kevin.
Yeah.
We have some late breaking news.
What?
According to the Hollywood Reporter, officially, Black Adam 2 is not moving forward as part of DC's first chapter.
That's news. I thought we all knew that. I guess it was conjecture up to this point. Now it's official.
Dwayne Johnson released in a statement, James Gunn are not connected and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. However, DC and $7, his production company, have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey man, remind me that if James Gunn calls me, I'm not answering the phone.
Probably not great news.
Wow, man. But they're all coming out of it not like pissed. They're not like going like, and I hate all these people. Like his sounds a lot like Henry's statement too, and as if I know him, Henry Cavill's statement, where he's just like, well, they got a plan and I'm not part of it, and I get it.
Yeah. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed, Johnson wrote. It's no different now, and I will always vote for DC and Marvel to win and win big. Basically it is I'm disappointed, but I'm being political about it and covering my ass a little bit, and hopefully something will come forward, but who knows when.
John Goodman was a good Santa on Futurama. Was that from you, Mike? John Goodman was a Santa on Futurama. I can't believe nobody in chat pointed that out. It took a comic book man to tell me that.
Wow.
Come over and show him your fucking face, comic book man. Kids, do you remember a few years ago when Comic Book Man was on AMC? Want a little taste, a little soupçon? What that was like?
This is what happens, kid, when they take you off of the TVs. You get old. You live under bridges.
2 of the 5 comic book men.
Wow. Got to collect them all.
That's true. That's what you get when you watch Fat Man Beyond. Well, our chat is lighting up with a bunch of people telling us who should play Santa, and Ethan Suplee is the clear winner.
Jack Santa.
Yeah, they want a jacked Santa. Let me tell you something. Between the last time we did the show and I think this time, maybe I ended the tour. No, I did the show last. I was done already. Every night on the tour, on the Clerks 3, the Convenience Tour, all 52 fucking shows. Whenever Ethan Suplee came up on screen, fucking place went nuts, like legit nuts, with the applauding and the fucking screaming and shit like that. I'm telling you, if I had any brains whatsoever, my next movie would be a buddy cop movie starring Ethan Suplee and Danny Trejo, because he came up on screen, the audience went even more nuts. They Affleck would come up, they go nuts. Those 2 guys, they were like, they're tearing seats down, man. They love those 2 cats. So all the people in chat, they got a point, man. Should cast Ethan Suplee as a Jack Santa Claus. Plus, he's one of the sweetest people on the planet. Ethan is such a nice kid.
Jack Santa and Danny Trejo as his elf? As his head elf?
I like it. Or Danny Trejo as the bad guy. I guess that's not a good look.
I mean, you could do Heat Miser, Cold Miser.
Did you see my eyes roll back in my head? That's because I just fucking involuntarily cummed. Oh my God, you're right. Which one? Heat.
Mm.
Sure.
I mean, Danny Trejo's Heat
I'm not
Miser.
going to do the voice, but I am going to sing the song. I'm Mr. Heat Miser. That's not the way Danny would do it.
No, not at all.
He'd do
But
it
also, that fucking number would be a banger.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fucking Spotify hit if ever there was one. Billboard Top 100, Heat Miser
Um,
by Bad Bunny.
There it is. Finally, Winged Blitzer jumped in to say John Goodman played the voice of Santa Bot in season 2 of Futurama. A comic book man beat you to that, Winged Blitzer. A great name. Benny Williams in chat says Danny Trejo as Santa's head elf, but it's literally just Machete. Santa is kidnapped by the cartel, written and directed by Robert Rodriguez. I'm in.
All right. Yeah, Danny Trejo is the elf who administers the naughty list. And so he's got to go to the...
David Harbour getting some love. Did you see Violent Night?
I didn't. I heard it was super fun.
I hear it's very good. I might be watching it tonight, but me and Josh Roush going to hook up Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
On purpose and everything?
We had a conversation
Why?
about it. Yes, by choice. We had a conversation about it, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to revisit that because I watched the opening scene and it was good times. But I'm gonna give it another roll because the fucking trailer for James Mangold's Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny is wonderful. He's riding a horse in a subway. What the fuck? So I'm gonna fuck with some mid Indiana Jones. And my opinion has changed. That's kind of that's the evening. Kenny turned me around on Crystal Skull.
I look forward to the results of this experiment.
He's fucking Uber Sprite said, "You better be high. You better believe it."
Every time a mutt shows up,
I'm gonna see those crystal skulls the way they're meant to be seen. Kids.
Clean shaven, thanks to the good folks at Manscaped.
Kamari Christie in chat said, "Rest in peace, Kevin Smith." Still alive, kids. Still here. Healthiest I've ever been. Literally at my fucking adult thinnest. I weigh 190 pounds.
Good for you.
Trying to stay alive. For some reason, a lot of people feel that means like I'm sick. It's quite the opposite. I could have used the condolences when I was heavier because I was technically sick at that point, but now doing quite well. Thank you. Still alive. No need for me to rest in peace. But thank you for the well wishes.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's a nap, in which case, by all means.
Yeah. Or if it's a holiday theme, sleep in heavenly peace kind of. Sleep in heavenly peace. Then I'll take that. But rest in peace. Not yet. Still got shit to do. Miles to go before I sleep, kids. The woods are beautiful, dark, and deep, but I promise you have to keep miles to go before I sleep.
I love how JC was like, if we could make this like a not overly long one, it'd be great. we're just Peter Jacksoning the end of this.
Quoting Robert Frost and shit like that, just being real off topic.
So you got 19 things to do.
Banff man does have some shit to do, man. So we got to go. Liam Doherty says we missed the tubby guy in an overcoat. You almost didn't have him. That was part of the problem, remember? He almost died. So this one is, he's got longer shelf life. At least that's what his cardiologist says. So I'm gonna stay here for a minute. Banff man, without you, we got nothing. We love you, Banff man. Oh yes, we do. Banff man's got a bar, very successful, kids. Go to it. Go to it now. It is called the Scum and Villainy Cantina. It is in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard. Not to be confused with Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, which is where I am. JC owns a legit watering hole, a nerd watering hole where you won't get beat up drinking. You only get beat up if you're like Han shot first or whatever. Fuck. Greedo shot first. whatever the fuck. That old argument. Go check it out. Do you want to tell these kids anything before we get out of here, Bamf Man?
Tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night, I'm hosting trivia and pre-festivities for Home Alone at the Walt Disney Concert Hall. So apparently somebody didn't get the memo that I shouldn't be there.
Ooh, man, what a bougie event you're going to.
So, yeah, I've written 30 holiday trivia questions. So, show up. Do you want to?
If we ask you for a sample, then you'll only have 29. But can we have a sample?
Yeah. What is the name of the pizza restaurant they order from in Home Alone?
Wow.
Shit.
That's deep cuts. I want to say Pizza Planet just to make a Pixar reference.
McCluskey's?
Little Nero's.
Huh.
Yeah, I would not fare well at this contest.
When is that event happening?
Oh, about 4 hours from now.
Can they buy tickets for it or no?
The expensive tickets, I think there are single seat expensive tickets left.
Fair enough. There you go, kids. If you're in the LA area and you want to see Bamf Man live with single seat expensive tickets, worst selling history. Tickets still available.
Buy yourself a Hanukkah present.
That's true.
The Pope Paul 42 says Disney adult gross. Ha ha ha. Disney people don't like adults who like Disney. Is that a thing on the internet?
I mean, I don't know. We're doing Home Alone, which was a Fox movie back when it came out.
It just happens to be at the Disney concert.
Yeah, yeah. Which is also, I believe, where part of Iron Man takes place there.
Yeah,
right?
that's Iron Man. That's where Jeff Bridges like tells him that he wanted him out, that he got him out of the company and shit.
Yeah, and that's where he runs into Stan Lee.
She's like, I'll get a martini with olives, lots of olives. Like when they get close to, and while they're dancing and shit, and she's like, I'm wearing this ridiculous dress. And it's such a sweet scene. They're two really good actors, man. You can watch Robert. You know what I watched? Senior, Robert Downey Jr.'s documentary.
Oh, did you like it?
Fucking loved it. After what you talked about, me and Josh rolled it the other day. I mean, look, I'll watch that dude do anything, but clearly he had a lot of affection, a lot of love and respect and admiration for his father. Like it's wonderful. But fuck, I wish they would give him a fucking TV show. I'd watch him every week just saying shit. He's such a good talker. I liked it. You know, it's emotional. A bunch of people are like, you can cry. I don't know if I cry, but I did absolutely love it. Anyway, sorry.
Anywho.
Senior. It's on Netflix right now. Kids, what can I tell you? Other than, what are you doing New Year's Eve? Well, come to New Jersey. Come to Smod Castle Cinemas and spend a New Year's evening with Kevin Smith, 10 o'clock till fucking 12:15. 12:15, I'm kicking everybody out. Tickets at smodcastleCinemas.com, ladies and gentlemen. Come on out for New Year's Eve. Mark, what do you got? Anything you got to sell?
Not a blessed thing, my friend. All I want to sell is some holiday cheer.
Look at that shit. That's free. You ain't even got to sell that.
Don't even got to sell it. I just hope everybody out there has a safe and happy holidays.
Some people in chat want to know if you're going to bring Splinter in March, but we'll know more about that down the road. Possibly.
Indeed. I won't rule it out. That's for certain. We got a DCP pressed of it, so it's ready to rumble.
He knows a guy, man. He knows a guy. There it is, kids. Without that guy over there, you got no fucking show. So give it up for the great Marc Bernardin.
No, thank you, Kevin Smith.
Somebody asked, did I move? Mark Day said, did Kevin move to New Jersey? He seems to be there a lot now. I am here for a bunch of time with the opening of the theater and whatnot. But no, I haven't moved out of California. I was just there. We just did a Golden Calves dinner at the house on the 9th, which if you're a member of That Kevin Smith Club, go to thatkevinsmithclub.com. Those videos are already up and stuff. But no, it's just, my kid's old and grown up now. Not old. I mean, fuck, I don't want her to hear that.
Yeah,
But
come
she's
on.
older. 23, she got her own house. And, when she was young, I spent every minute in California. That's where we lived. But now there's a lot more flexibility. I don't have to be, home all the time because our kids got to go to school or some such shit. So, here we are trying to build the movie theater. So that's where I'm at the time. But kids, I thank you for spending this holiday edition of Fat Man Beyond with us, man. I want everyone to have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy holidays across the boards, kids. This is that time of year where we all get to live like it's the last 10 minutes of Scrooged. What better way to be? I mean, you could try living that way all year long. That's what I do. But at least during Christmas, here it is. This is you get an old blanket, go up to somebody and say, oh, by the way, here. That's part of his. There it is. It's early ass. Look, we're done so early. You got a whole night ahead of you, man. If you're on the East Coast, go see a movie. We're closed. Tomorrow, go see a movie at Castle Cinemas. But there it is. Happy holidays from all of us here from the great beyond. Fat Man Beyond. And that's Fat Man Beyond for this week, kids. Tune in next week or when we do it between the holidays, which will probably be next week. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I am Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time. Same fat time. Same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
A merry Jeff's kiss, everybody. Mwah. This is the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Kiss you.